After 2 years of caring for the Comatose CEO, Mingxu, on his first day of awakening, his beloved, the light of his life, proposed to him. Mingxu, I have taken care of you for 2 years. Now that you have finally awakened, may I marry you? He gracefully accepted the flowers. In the corner, I felt my body stiffen, lamenting that my 2 years of devotion had merely served to adorn another's wedding gown. Yet, Mingxu abruptly kicked her away. Absolutely not. Get lost. I may have been in a deep slumber, but I am not dead. If you wish for me to marry you, you must be dreaming. No, not even in your dreams should you entertain such notions. 1. After 2 years of tending to Mingxu, who had fallen into a coma due to an accident, he finally regained consciousness. At the entrance of the Ming residence, I was intercepted. Siyu, with an air of superiority, coldly scoffed at me. Xinyan, you cannot compete with me. What of the 2 years you spent caring for Mingxu? Do you truly believe that if I were to propose to him now, he would not hesitate to accept? Do not forget, he is in love with me. I believed her words. Mingxu and Siyu were childhood sweethearts, having grown up together. Their bond profound, they were considered a match made in heaven in High City. In the past, Mingxu would fulfill Siyu's every wish, and it would not be surprising if he agreed to her proposal upon awakening. Yet, having devoted 2 years to caring for Mingxu, I still yearned to witness his awakening with my own eyes. As the family doctor examined Mingxu, I quietly stood in the corner, observing. At the moment the examination concluded, the grand doors swung open, allowing sunlight to pour in, as Siyu, adorned in a wedding gown and holding flowers, stepped into the light. Towards Mingxu. Mingxu, I have cared for you for 2 years. Now that you are awake, will you marry me? We shall be together forever. Mingxu rubbed his eyes, remaining silent. Siyu continued her earnest declaration. Mingxu, I love you so dearly. You have been asleep for 2 years, and I have devoted myself entirely to your care throughout this time. I have remained by your side, unwavering. Finally, you have awakened. It is not too late for us to marry, as we should have 2 years ago. My hardships have finally borne fruit, and how wonderful it is. Mingxu's motion of rubbing his eyes ceased as he reached out to accept the flowers from Si's hands. Indeed, Mingxu acquiesced, just as I was reflecting on how my 2 years of sacrifice had merely served to adorn another's wedding gown. Mingxu suddenly rose, kicking Siyu away. What nonsense. Siyu, I may have been in a deep slumber, but I am not dead. How dare you utter such words about my suffering being rewarded? You cared for me for 2 years? You truly know how to speak absurdities. Coming to propose while carrying another's child. Do you truly see me as a fool? Get as far away from me as possible. 6. 2. Perhaps it was unexpected for Mingxu to exhibit such ferocity, leaving Siyu utterly bewildered. Mingxu, what are you talking about? She stammered. Do you not comprehend what I am saying? Should I reiterate the words you exchanged with your boyfriend while you were in my hospital room? He retorted sharply. Mingxu, I did not. Please allow me to explain. She pleaded desperately. Did not. Mingxu's face flushed with anger. It seemed the sudden movement had caused him dizziness, prompting him to recline once more. Was it not you who brought someone into my hospital room to cavort? Was it not you who suggested we engage in more exciting activities while I lay there? Are you not the one who was pregnant? Were you not the one who spoke behind my back, calling me blind and foolish? And now you come here to propose to me? Devoid of any shame, do you not feel embarrassed? Although Siyu was Mingxu's childhood friend, she had not taken care of him after his incident. I initially assumed she merely coveted my accolades for caring for him, but I was astounded to learn she had committed such acts. The magnitude of this revelation left me momentarily speechless. Siyu's complexion shifted from pale to flushed, yet she remained undeterred, even attempting to tarnish my reputation. Mingxu, it is not as it seems. Those actions were committed by Xinyan. I cherish you deeply. How could I ever engage in such behavior? I am Siyu, the one you once adored. I am well aware that you are dead fish. Had I not once cherished you, I would not have recognized you. Besides, my past affection for you has clearly led to my retribution, has it not? Mingxu. Siyu attempted to assert herself once more, but Mingxu cut her off. If you do not leave immediately, I shall unleash my dog upon you. 3. I discerned that Mingxu might genuinely detest Siyu now. Siyu had always harbored a fear of dogs. In the past, Mingxu had confined his beloved canine to the basement to spare her feelings. He would only release the dog after Siyu departed, until eventually, the dog gave birth to puppies. Unbeknownst to Mingxu, Siyu visited the Ming residence and had those puppies sent away, resulting in their tragic demise from exposure. Though Mingxu was furious, he had never previously threatened to unleash his dog on her. Yet now, he displayed a blatant disregard for her, openly expressing his disdain. I was truly incensed. Awakening to the sight of a dead fish was intolerable. No, I must procure 10 vicious dogs immediately from now on. Let them assail this woman whenever she appears. Furthermore, all the sofas, cabinets, curtains, and furniture in this vicinity must be discarded, and my room must be disinfected 10 times over. Who knows if this woman is afflicted with some ailment? Siyu's expression was far from pleasant, yet she could only muster a quiet complaint. Mingxu, we've known each other since childhood. There is no need for such humiliation. Of course, there is every need. Is this humiliation? Mingxu scoffed. Have I ever engaged in such behavior before you? Who is humiliating whom here? I. Mingxu, however, paid no heed to Siyu's protests and called to the butler standing nearby. Uncle Zhou, please bring my little love out to bite her. Uncle Zhou, who had cared for Mingxu throughout his upbringing, promptly went to fetch the dog. Terrified, Siyu clutched her skirt and fled, casting a furious glare in my direction before departing. I surmised she intended to return to the Si family to complain about something I had said to Mingxu, yet I made no effort to stop her. Having witnessed this farce, I resolved to take my leave. Just as I planned to discreetly exit from a corner, Mingxu caught sight of me. Nian Nian? I froze. He had unexpectedly called out to me. A wave of anxiety washed over me. For 14 years in the Si household, I had been utterly overlooked. Previously, Mingxu's gaze had only ever rested on Siyu, and I had dared only to harbor my affections for him in silence. I anticipated he might claim not to recognize me or refer to me as Siyu's sister, yet I was taken aback when he approached me, hesitating as he accused. Nian Nian, my head hurts. Why did you not come to embrace me? Have you ceased to care for me? His expression was one of profound desolation. Moreover, Nian Nian, why did you not expel that insufferable green tea BTCH, Siyu? I slept for 2 years, and upon awakening, I was confronted by her. I nearly fainted once more. Do you have any idea how much I long to see you, only for you to flee at the sight of me? Is it that you only appreciate me when I am motionless? If you truly care, I can remain in this vegetative state. But could you at least agree to my proposal first? Mingxu seemed to have emerged from his slumber with a romantic disposition. He halted before me, leaning against the wall for support. Nian Nian, I love you. I wish to marry you. I was utterly flabbergasted by his unexpected proposal, especially after he had just rejected Siyu's offer. Before his coma, our interactions had been scarce. Sensing my confusion, he began to clarify. Nian Nian, I know you cared for me during my 2-year slumber. I know you harbor feelings for me. I remember how you wept in my ear when Uncle Zhou was away. You would tenderly wipe my palms with a warm towel, apply hand cream, and wash my face. While I was conscious yet unable to awaken, I resolved that if I ever regained consciousness, I would be with you, cradling you in my hands, and marrying you. Now that I have truly awakened, albeit with weak legs, let us marry as soon as I regain my strength. Until then, I will be close to you, he. I watched as he leaned against the wall, his body awkwardly unstable, and I found myself extending a hand to support him. He instinctively leaned against me, a surge of joy radiating from him. I knew you would be concerned for me. Present this flower to Nian Nian. Though Siyu may not be commendable, her choice of flowers is quite exquisite. They suit you beautifully. I suspected Mingxu had been swapped with another, for the former Mingxu was always composed and collected, never speaking in such a tone. Nian Nian, why are you silent? Will you agree to marry me? I opened my mouth but no sound emerged. Mingxu furrowed his brow and lifted my chin. Nian Nian, what is wrong with your voice? I remained mute. Thus, Mingxu insisted on taking me to the hospital for an examination. The doctor's findings were unchanged. The car accident 2 years prior had impacted my vocal cords, and the lack of timely treatment had resulted in my muteness. Upon receiving this news, Mingxu's eyes reddened with emotion. Nian Nian, I am so sorry. It is all my fault. Had it not been for me, you would not be suffering like this. I ought to be damned. Seeing him so despondent in his wheelchair evoked memories of the accident from 2 years ago. At that time, Mingxu had genuinely cared for Siyu after her competition abroad. He had driven to the airport to fetch her. My father had summoned me to assist Siyu with her luggage, and I had joined Mingxu in his car. However, A torrential downpour that day led to a vehicle with malfunctioning brakes barreling toward us on the highway. Before losing consciousness, I feared for my life. Miraculously, I awoke afterward. Investigators later claimed that Mingxu had executed an impressive emergency maneuver, altering our course just in time to save us. Had he not acted swiftly, I would surely have perished. My muteness was not his fault. On the contrary, he had saved my life. Therefore, I grasped his hand and wrote in his palm, "It is not your fault. This is not your doing." My issue arose solely from the lack of timely treatment. He remained sorrowful, but soon his focus shifted. If it can be treated, why has the C family not sought treatment for you? As daughters of the C family, CU can afford a piano worth 7 million. Yet they neglect to treat your voice? Indeed, the C family had no shortage of wealth, and CU and I were indeed sisters, yet I was the one who had been overlooked. In their attempts to comfort CU, who was grieving over Mingxu's accident, they had completely disregarded my existence. They might not even realize that I had lost my voice. Mingxu was unaware of my inner thoughts, but he held my hand firmly, his expression a mix of anger and determination. "Nian Nian, I will ensure your voice is healed. The suffering inflicted upon you by the C family will undoubtedly be repaid in full." I was on the verge of confiding in Mingxu about my grievances with the C family when, unexpectedly, I received a call from my father. As soon as I answered, I was met with a torrent of furious accusations. "Si Nian, after raising you for so many years, you remain an inconsequential wretch. Being allowed to care for Mingxu is a privilege you should be grateful for, yet you dare to spread venomous gossip in his presence." I remained silent as he continued unabated. "You know that Suyu fears dogs more than anything, yet you allowed Mingxu to unleash a dog upon her. How can you be so malicious? I am aware of your feelings for Mingxu, but mark my words. When he awakens, the only one he shall marry is Xiaoyu. Suppress your unseemly desires and allow Xiaoyu and Mingxu to wed. Otherwise, your future will be bleak. At 8 o'clock tonight, return and kneel to apologize to Xiaoyu. If you fail to return, I shall consider you no daughter of mine." Having grown accustomed to their sudden outbursts, I felt little emotion. Mingxu, however, was visibly agitated, letting out a cold laugh as he exclaimed, "Oh dear, your father berates his daughter for being inconsequential, yet he deems himself worthy? I doubt you merely belong on stage. You could ascend to the heavens. Being allowed to care for me is a privilege? Why do you not come and take this privilege for yourself? That dead fish is so deplorable. Does she truly require others to allow me to unleash a dog upon her? I have long wished to let a dog bite her. Next time, keep that dead fish in check. I fear she may come to my home and have my dog attack her. And by the way, when did I become bound to marry that dead fish? What, has the C family's business ascended to the heavens these past 2 years, now governing human relationships?" My father was momentarily taken aback by Mingxu's barrage of words, eventually regaining his voice. You're Mingxu? If you doubt my identity, you may call me father. I am still regaining my senses. If you wish to acknowledge me, then so be it." I interjected, "So, 8 o'clock tonight, is it? You may wait at home, and we shall certainly return to kneel and apologize. Prepare yourself, for I fear you may be unable to withstand my knees." Mingxu, steadfastly present, dismissed my father's protestations. "Do not listen to Si Nian's nonsense." Without hesitation, he hung up the call. He concluded with, "Still wishing to spout nonsense in my presence? Nian Nian, today I will accompany you back to the C family. I am eager to see how Sui plans to make you kneel." On the way to the C residence, Mingxu posed some peculiar questions. I sensed he was harboring a significant revelation. I urged him not to concern himself with these matters, assuring him I would manage them independently. Yet he was fervently insistent. "Nian Nian, consider my meddling. I have been idle for 2 years, and I seek merely to stretch my limbs." As the clock struck 8, I arrived punctually at the C family estate. The servant led Mingxu and me into the living room, where my father sat on the sofa, a whip resting beside him. Siyu and her mother, adorned in exquisite makeup and luxurious kipeos, gracefully prepared tea, their disdainful glances directed at me, clearly anticipating my submission. Upon noticing that I had arrived alone, my father sneered and tossed the whip at my feet. "Xinyan, do not hesitate to kneel and apologize to your sister." I remained unmoved when suddenly, Uncle Zhou wheeled Mingxu into view behind me. For a brief moment, my father stiffened at the sight of Mingxu, but his expression quickly transformed into a smile. However, Mingxu did not acknowledge my father's smile. His attention was fixed on the whip that lay before me. "Ah, the whip is at the ready. It seems we are indeed expected to kneel and apologize. If we do not kneel, shall we be bound and receive 50 lashes instead? Siyu and her mother were equally taken aback, clearly believing that Mingxu would not come to my defense. My father, attempting to placate Mingxu, remarked, Mingxu, having just recovered from a serious illness, why not rest at home? Why do you concern yourself with me? Mingxu retorted, causing my father to falter. Yet he was not inclined to relent. Having just recovered, I cannot kneel alone. Shall you lend a hand, see uncle? He claimed that our families were close. But in reality, it was merely an embellishment. Had it not been for Grandpa Ming's remembrance of his past friendship with Grandpa Si, the Si family would have been cast aside long ago. Mingxu, an heir to the Ming family fortune, knew that the bulk of the Si family's investments originated from the Ming clan, hence my father dared not offend him. Hearing Mingxu's words, my father's face was etched with concern.
Mingxu, you jest.
I would never make you kneel. If anyone should kneel, it is Si Nian, for she has committed a wrongdoing, and ought to learn a lesson. He cast a warning glance in my direction, implicitly urging me to yield. I understood his intent, but remained unresponsive as usual. Mingxu, however, caught the meaning in my father's gaze and inquired, what transgression has Si Nian committed that warrants the use of a whip? It seemed my father had found an outlet for his frustrations, and he began to disparage me. Mingxu, you spent much time with Xiaoyu when you were younger, so you may not be aware of Si Nian's true nature. We have provided her with every comfort, yet she consistently undermines her sister. You cannot be unaware that our Xiaoyu has suffered greatly at her hands. You are aware of how kind and virtuous Xiaoyu has been, and yet you fell for Si Nian's deceit, did you not? We merely wish for her to manage her tongue. He sought to belittle me while extolling Siyu, placing all blame upon my shoulders, a tactic he had employed for years. Siyu, accustomed to this dynamic, readily agreed. Yes, brother Mingxu. Si Nian is the best at slandering me and manipulating others. She remains silent when questioned. You have been deceived, brother Mingxu. Si Nian's behavior is a reflection of my shortcomings as her father. Indeed, it is your failing. Mingxu interjected, unable to contain his frustration. To this day, you believe that Si Nian's silence is an act of pity rather than due to a genuine issue with her voice. You urged me not to trust her. Yet she has never uttered a word of untruth to me. If I cannot trust her, should I then trust you? Si Nian has a problem with her voice? My father's face contorted with shock and confusion, while Siyu and her mother were unwilling to accept this revelation. Impossible. Si Nian could not possibly have a voice issue. She must be deceiving you, brother Mingxu. Indeed, Si Nian could not possibly have a voice issue. Mingxu, resolute, would not heed their disbelief. Is the hospital's examination result suspect? See, uncle, if you claim to have provided Si Nian with every comfort, why were you unaware of her voice problem? Si Nian has never mentioned any issue with her voice, so naturally, we would have no knowledge. Mingxu pressed, his anger mounting. Si Nian has a voice problem, and you blame her for not informing you? I cannot bear this any longer. Perhaps you should accompany me to the hospital for a checkup of your own mental faculties. Mingxu's steady resolve left my father reeling. He wasted no time in stating his purpose. I am here to annul my engagement with Siyu. For the past few years, the Si family had thrived on the Ming family's support, and my father was adamantly opposed to the dissolution of the engagement, launching into a lecture about tradition. Mingxu, the marriage was arranged by the elders. You cannot decide unilaterally. Furthermore, Siyu has waited for you for 2 years. For you to seek an annulment on your first day of awakening is truly disheartening. The marriage was arranged by Grandpa, yet I too have a say. As for your assertion that Siyu has waited for me for 2 years? Mingxu scoffed, countering, did she wait for me? Or did she indulge in the company of other men for 2 years? You cannot be oblivious to this. My father and Siyu were bewildered, seemingly unaware of Siyu's actions. I too was taken aback. It appeared that Siyu's involvement with another man had escaped even her mother's notice. Perhaps she felt emboldened by the belief that Mingxu would never awaken, leading her to take such risks. Mingxu turned his gaze to Siyu, demanding that she confess. To my astonishment, Siyu adamantly denied any wrongdoing. Brother Mingxu, are you still muddled from just waking up? I have waited for you for 2 years. And you wish to cast me aside? You cannot do this. Mingxu, visibly disdainful, retorted. You still wish to discuss me further? You truly excel at repulsing others. Deny it if you can. I possess evidence. Mingxu indeed produced a plethora of photos and videos, all depicting Siyu in intimate moments with several young men. The content was rather explicit. I had already seen it upon my arrival, and every image of Cu's face was unmistakably clear, rendering any pretense of ignorance futile. However, the Ming family is the most desirable ally for the C family, and my father alongside Madame C would not allow Mingxu and Cu's relationship to dissolve so easily. As expected, he quickly regained his composure and began to persuade Mingxu. Dear nephew Mingxu, you must understand that during the 2 years you were unconscious, Cu did make some foolish mistakes, but now that you have awakened, she shall err no longer. Indeed, our little Yu still harbors feelings for you. You two have been childhood sweethearts. You are the perfect match. Yes, brother Mingxu. I shall immediately break up with them. Despite my foreknowledge, I was taken aback by their words, which were aimed at convincing Mingxu to accept Cu. Mingxu, irate, gritted his teeth. Do not speak of being a perfect match. I fear the heavens may strike you down and drag me and Yan Yan into it. Do I appear to possess any peculiar inclinations? Just because you profess to love me does not mean I must turn back without pause. Do I seem so debased? No one dared to label Mingxu as lowly, not even I. My father refrained from agreeing with him, yet he attempted to persuade Mingxu. Mingxu, every human makes mistakes. Cu merely committed errors that most girls do. You must trust her. She has always been the one who loves you the most. If you can forgive her, you are still a match made in heaven. I could not help but laugh aloud. I had imagined countless scenarios of hearing such phrases as she merely made the mistakes that all men do. Forgive her, and you are still a match made in heaven. Yet I never anticipated my father employing such rhetoric to persuade Mingxu. My sudden laughter drew their attention toward me. Cu and Madame C naturally regarded me with venomous disdain, while my father shot me a dark look of reproach. Mingxu's gaze, however, was unlike theirs. He grasped my hand urgently. Uncle C, I have a hospital checkup tomorrow. Would you like to accompany me to see a neurologist? Forget it. I fear I may be infected. Mingxu, you. Yet Mingxu interrupted him brusquely. My grandfather has always supported my decisions. I am withdrawing from this marriage. I do not hold Cu's actions against her over the past 2 years. Please do not make this more contentious than it needs to be. Additionally, I intend to marry Nian Nian. At this proclamation, all three were taken aback. Mingxu, you wish to marry Nian? It finally dawned on me that Mingxu's grand revelation lay here. Mingxu intended to marry me. Although I had suggested he should clarify his thoughts before broaching this matter, it was evident that his stance was unwavering. Yet, how would Cu permit this? Nian, why do you seek to steal my brother Mingxu from me? Why do you not just perish? In the C household, Cu always overshadowed me. She looked down upon me, and all were aware that she was the most radiant star. However, Mingxu's decision to annul their engagement in favor of marrying me, the sister she deemed beneath her,
Was something she could not accept.
Nian, you should have perished 2 years ago. I found myself unable to respond to Cu's furious outburst. Thus, Mingxu answered for me. You wretched fish. Are you out of your mind? Is it my fault whom I favor? You dare curse someone to death. How wicked of you. But if she had not seduced you, you would not. I would. Mingxu declared with unyielding certainty. Nian Nian did not seduce me. See, we grew up together. You know I cannot abide by your deceit and betrayal. Annulment is the best resolution for us. If you insist on clinging to this, do not blame me for making it unpleasant. His threats loomed large, and Cu fell silent. Madame C and my father had no retort. Before arriving, Mingxu had informed me of his intent to marry me. He was not seeking my father's approval, but rather notifying them. I shall offer 20% of the Ming family shares as a betrothal gift. How much? My father, Cu, and Madame C were all astounded, as was I. It was no wonder my father was shocked. Mingxu's offer was exorbitant. I grasped Mingxu's hand, signaling him that he was being overly extravagant and impulsive. However, Mingxu tightened his grip on mine and stated earnestly, You all know I have been in a vegetative state for 2 years. I can presently only offer 20% of the shares. Should I be able to secure more later, I will provide it all to Nian Nian.
For now.
20% is sufficient to ensure her comfort. Of course it is. Mingxu, do you truly wish to use shares as a betrothal gift? Cu and Madame C shared the same incredulous inquiry. 20% of the Ming family's shares is not merely enough for comfort. Given the current market value, 20% could purchase 10 C families. Furthermore, with the Ming family's burgeoning endeavors in renewable energy and modern agriculture, the future is promising. Acquiring 20% of the Ming family's shares presents a bright outlook. My father had previously ardently wished for Cu and Mingxu to unite, hoping she would secure shares from him. Now that the shares were on the table, perhaps my father would consent to my marriage with Mingxu. As anticipated, my father relented. Mingxu, since you have offered such earnest intent to marry Si Nian, I shall not obstruct you. After all, Nian Nian is also mine. The share transfer agreement is already in the works. I initially intended to present it to Uncle Si, but I noticed he does not seem to regard Nian Nian as a daughter, thus I shall bestow the shares upon Nian Nian. For me, observing my father's complexion shift dramatically, I realized that Mingxu's earlier peculiar inquiries had been a prelude to this grand revelation. He aimed to provoke my father's anxiety. Mingxu, since you wish to grant the shares as a betrothal gift, I am her father. It is inappropriate for you to bestow the shares directly upon her. Mingxu clicked his tongue lightly and nodded in agreement with my father. Indeed, I also believe it more suitable to present real estate as a betrothal gift. Upon hearing this, my father grew anxious once more. It is indeed more appropriate for the shares to go to Nian Nian. Mingxu chuckled enigmatically. Is that so?
Certainly.
Since Uncle Si deems it appropriate, I shall not change my mind. The transfer agreement will be delivered to Nian Nian tomorrow. However, I intend to take Nian Nian away with me today. Absolutely not. My father opposed Mingxu's intention to take me away. This is Nian Nian's home. If you truly wish what is best for her, you should allow her to reside here. Ironically, throughout my 14 years in the Si household, I had heard my father tell me to leave, and see you and Madame Si label me as a wretch. But I had never heard anyone refer to the Si residence as my home. Yet now, for the sake of those shares, my father audaciously declared this was my home. Nonetheless, I held no desire for it, as my 14 years in the Si family had solely been to uncover one truth. A thoroughly cliché and melodramatic tale of high society unfolds. The company heiress falls for a young employee and ardently pursues him. The employee, unable to withstand the heiress's charms, engages with her while secretly dating his girlfriend. Eventually, he discovers that the heiress genuinely loves him and is not merely toying with him, leading him to promise marriage to her while simultaneously deceiving his long-term girlfriend. After the heiress becomes pregnant, he also causes his unsuspecting girlfriend to conceive. The heiress gives birth to a daughter, and after recovering her health, she finds that her husband remains entangled with his former girlfriend, even having a child with her. This revelation leads her to create a scene in the delivery room. It is then that the girlfriend realizes her partner had wed and fathered a child unbeknownst to her, rendering her an intruder in another's marriage. She severs all ties with him and takes the child away. Yet the rumors of her unwed motherhood and the heartache of her circumstances plunge her into postpartum depression. She persevered for 8 years, clearly seeing the glimmer of dawn, having caught a glimpse of my father and Lady C. After 8 years of unwavering dedication, her efforts came to naught, culminating in a leap from the 7th floor, severing her ties with all the troubles and longings of this world. During the 14 years since being taken to the Si household, I have always yearned to uncover the true nature of the person my mother often murmured about. In the end, I discovered it was nothing extraordinary. Her fate cannot be blamed on others. Had she not clung to her delusions, had she withdrawn at the first sign of trouble instead of plunging headlong into the whirlpool, she would not have met such an end. I am incensed by her lack of resolve, yet I remain committed to avenging the grievances that must be addressed. Although I reside in the Si family, I do not spend my nights there. Even if Mingxu does not take me away today, I will still depart. Just as I was about to express my intent, Mingxu grasped my hand. I looked down as he leaned toward my ear and spoke. You shall stay here tonight and give them a taste of their own medicine. They have bullied you before, so seize this opportunity to retaliate fiercely. Mingxu's words left me both amused and exasperated. So, this was his sudden notion of transferring the shares to me. I contemplated telling him it was unnecessary, yet he seemed resolute. Uncle Si made a valid point. Therefore, today Nian Nian will remain in the Si household, and I shall return tomorrow to fetch her. I will arrange for the share transfer agreement to be delivered tomorrow. My father nodded eagerly. Mingxu did not linger, instructing Uncle Zhou to take him away. After Mingxu's departure, the Si family's living room fell into a hushed silence. My father, Lady Si, and Xiu all turned their gazes toward me.
Si Nian Yu.
Lady Si initiated the confrontation, but my father preemptively cautioned them. It was Xiaoyu who failed to seize the opportunity. Since Mingxu intends to marry Nian Nian, they should refrain from causing any disturbances. Having managed the company for many years, my father wielded authority, and neither Xiu nor Lady Si dared to oppose his decisions, even if they felt discontent. They shot me a resentful glance before retreating upstairs. My father, unusually affable, addressed me. Nian Nian, You need not worry. I will contact the best doctors to treat your throat. My neglect over the years is indeed a failing on my part as a father. I shall make amends. I stifled a cynical laugh. If he truly felt regret, he would have expressed it long ago, not waiting until now to voice his remorse. I will provide you with an explanation regarding your mother's affairs, but the shares Mingxu has entrusted to you must be returned to me. I tore a page from the notebook I carried and wrote 3 words. Why? What more could there be to discuss? After all these years, you have not acquired any knowledge regarding share management. The amount of Ming family shares is substantial, and your inability to maximize their value is a waste. Hand them over to me, and I shall manage them for you, which is the most prudent choice. I regarded him coldly, remaining unmoved. Indeed, I had not learned anything about share management because he had allocated all resources to CU, and I had almost failed to attend university. Ironically, he now used this as justification for demanding the shares bestowed upon me by the Ming family. Nian Nian, I will always be your father, even if you marry Mingxu. The C family's fortunes are intertwined with your reputation. It would be wiser to entrust the management of the shares to me. I will always stand by your side. I found his feigned sincerity tiresome. I picked up my pen and wrote, I can manage the shares myself. You know nothing. How can you manage them? I presented a photo of my dual degree certificates before him. He attempted to utter more, but I tuned him out, swiftly writing, even if I cannot manage them. Based on the Ming family's business model, they would not allow me to hold shares without reaping rewards. What do you know? My father's expression darkened considerably. Xin Yan, do you comprehend what the Ming family shares signify? 20% of the shares could purchase 10 of the C family's companies. Are you mad to simply hold them for dividends? I found it laughable. You acknowledge the value of the Ming family shares, yet reach out your hand to demand them from me. Do you truly believe I would comply? I am your father. When you utter such words, have you consulted your conscience? He attempted to respond, but I added, oh, wait, you have no conscience. Otherwise, you would not deceive the woman who cared for you, nor would you drive her to despair, nor neglect your own flesh and blood. Having penned these words, I disregarded his reaction and departed. The Ming family shares are of considerable worth, even setting aside whether Mingxu would genuinely grant them to me. I would not relinquish them to my father for management. Yet, to my astonishment, Mingxu indeed delivered the shares to me. 20% of the shares are designated for me. Lady C and my father were astonished, as was I. My father attempted to persuade me. Nian Nian, these shares should be entrusted to your father for management. I guarantee they will be well taken care of. I scoffed. No need, Dad. You have labored for most of your life. It is time for you to enjoy some comfort. Moreover, I do not want these shares. I refused to sign, instead instructing my lawyer to take the agreement back. Once the others had departed, my father's true nature was revealed. Xin Yan, what are you hesitating for? So many shares, and you simply dismiss them? If you do not want them, you could give them to us. It truly feels like we have raised you for nothing all these years. Witnessing their grotesque expressions, I realized it was time to prioritize the matters I had been neglecting. I wrote them a note. The shares belong to Mingxu. Even if they are given to me, I will not accept them, and it is even more impossible to give them to you. You say you have raised me for nothing all these years. Well, I shall ensure you regret having done so. What does that mean? I did not respond but turned and fled the C household. It was at this moment that Mingxu's call came through. Nian Nian, why aren't you taking the shares? Have the C family members been bullying you? I found myself unable to answer, and he grew anxious. Hide for now. I will come to the C household immediately. Wait for me. I grabbed a voice recorder to convey my thoughts to Mingxu. No need. I will come to find you. I dared not linger at the C household and naturally sought out Mingxu to confide in him and commence the tasks I needed to undertake. Then I will wait for you at home. Nian Nian, hurry. Upon my arrival at Mingxu's home, he had just completed his training, and Uncle Zhou discreetly suggested I assist Mingxu with his wheelchair. Mingxu was still somewhat boisterous. Nian Nian, I have asked my dashing older brother abroad to help me find a doctor for your throat. Your voice will surely improve. And you must hold on to those shares. Once you have them, let us see how the C family dares to bully you. That 20% is all I can manage for now. But once I recover and secure more shares, I will give them all to you. I even learned sign language, although I do not know much. Please see if I am doing it correctly. He demonstrated the sign language he had learned. I wrote him a note. Very standard. I was taken aback by how quickly he had taken up sign language. Though his movements were awkward, they were indeed precise. His spirits lifted instantly. as long as it is standard. I specifically sought out a sign language instructor while undergoing rehabilitation training. From now on, you can communicate with me using sign language, and I will understand. A warm current surged through my heart, leaving me speechless with gratitude. Although I could not articulate my thoughts, I was not deaf. Yet, his attentiveness was remarkable. However, setting aside my emotions, I returned to the subject of the shares. I cannot accept the shares. The current value of the Ming family shares is considerable. I have no justification for taking your shares. He grew anxious. How can there be no justification for accepting my shares? I am going to marry you. Those shares were meant to be yours from the beginning. You wouldn't refuse to marry me, would you? I looked at the cautious Mingxu. Again, I took out a piece of paper to write. You spoke of marrying me, yet if it is merely gratitude for my care over the past 2 years, a financial compensation would suffice. There is no need for such a vow, nor for the substantial shares you offer. A flicker of hurt passed through his eyes. Nian. I have never been oblivious to your unwavering support during these 2 years. I am acutely aware. I simply cannot awaken from this stupor. It is not mere gratitude I feel for your care, but genuine affection. Why do you doubt me? Naturally, I remained skeptical, having witnessed Mingxu's infatuation with Siyu. I could not fathom what might have stirred his heart for me. If 2 years of steadfast devotion were insufficient to ignite my feelings, then both our hearts must be blind. His words held a semblance of truth. I accepted Mingxu's sentiments, but resolutely rejected his shares. Regardless of his entreaties, I remained steadfast in my refusal. He could not sway me, thus he attempted another approach. I have contacted top-tier doctors overseas. While you may decline the shares, surely you would consent to treatment for your throat? I found this proposition impossible to decline. As he arranged for the doctor's return, I began to adjust my diet in preparation for the surgery, while concurrently gathering evidence. My 14 years within the C household were not spent merely awaiting my father's nurturing. Although my mother had been wounded by rumors and my father's betrayal, her love for me surpassed her love for herself. She vowed to wait until I matured, to witness my pursuit of happiness. Despite having envisioned a beautiful future, her faith crumbled upon encountering my father and Madame C. I yearned to uncover what they had told my mother. Yet, the truth was that my mere existence, alongside my mother's, would bring them disgrace. In the midst of their quarrel, Madame C accidentally pushed someone down. I had been informed that the most effective way to exact revenge was not through punishment, but by stripping someone of what they cherished most. Upon discovering the truth, I dedicated 8 years to gathering evidence of the C family's violations. Once these revelations became public, the C family's empire would crumble. Neither Siyu, Madame C, nor my father could thwart this, not even Mingxu. However, before I could present the evidence to the reporters, rumors regarding my mother interfering in another's family and my involvement in my sister's relationship with her fiancé had already captured headlines. The headlines read, "The scandalous early years of the C Corporation's president. The C heiress's fiancé stolen by her illegitimate sister." 3 trending topics, coupled with 2 video interviews. I clicked to view them. Madame C lamented, "My husband, during his early endeavors, was ensnared by a woman who intervened in our lives and vanished while secretly bearing a child. Now, her daughter returns to claim my daughter's fiancé. Is there no justice left?" My sister, Siyu, stated, "Mingxu and I have been childhood friends. After his accident, I waited 2 years for him. I never anticipated he would wish to annul our engagement to marry my sister. I do not understand why. Until I learned that my sister was aware that even though he appeared unresponsive, his consciousness was intact. She seized the opportunity to take him from me. What difference is there between this and being a third party?" Observing their remarks, I found them amusing. I simply could not comprehend the benefit of C.E. urging Madame C to disclose her past with my mother, casting aspersions upon her. As for Siyu, I was even more perplexed. Mingxu possessed the evidence yet chose silence, and indeed, I was not the only one bewildered. The comments echoed this confusion. What is the significance of Madame C.'s statements? Confessing her husband's infidelity? The discord between 2 daughters? Is this the essence of a wealthy family feud? However, to be outsmarted by a waitress and her daughter is truly repugnant. How shall we put it? Like begets like. What daughters could arise from such mothers? She intervenes in another's marriage, and her daughter encroaches upon her sister's love. Clearly, all illegitimate children are of questionable character. And what of the Ming Corporation's president? Did his brain sustain damage in that car accident 2 years ago? To be attracted to such a lowly woman? Their words were harsh, yet they did not perturb me. I registered my identity, and soon enough, messages flooded in. Could this sister be aware of her newfound fame, thus registering to capitalize on the ensuing attention? An explosive annual event. The illegitimate daughter daring to appear brazenly after invading another's relationship. I disregarded these messages. I composed a statement directed at CU and CE. I recall a week ago, I inquired whether Mr. C possessed any conscience. In hindsight, I was naive. How could a man who simultaneously supports an oblivious ex-girlfriend while marrying another possess a conscience? As for you, Miss C, the doctors are uncertain about your situation. Yet, I am already aware. Do you not find that laughable? Furthermore, you have not been idle during your 2 years waiting for Mr. Ming. My response garnered swift comments, all questioning the veracity of my words. Just as I prepared to reply, Mingxu appeared. Nian Yan, are you alright? He had resumed training for a week, and could now barely stand. Likely having seen the news online, he came to inquire about my well-being. I shook my head and showed him what I had posted. Upon reading, he was visibly incensed. I could not discern Ci's intentions. But how dare this wretched individual utter such words? I smiled faintly, remaining silent. Mingxu scoffed. Nian Nian, do not concern yourself with these matters. Leave them to me. The doctor I contacted has arrived. You should attend to your throat. Indeed, I had no intention of intervening. Having merely handed over the evidence I had collected to the reporters, the doctor informed me that there was hope for my throat's recovery, but it necessitated surgery, followed by a period of rest. On the day of the procedure, my friends released the evidence I had gathered. Before entering the operating room, Mingxu assured me he would wait outside, and my friends wished me a smooth surgery. When I awakened from the operation, it was already the following day. The scandal surrounding the C family had erupted online. Photographs of CE and my mother during their romantic involvement, along with their correspondence and treasured videos proving their past as a couple predating his marriage to Madame C, surfaced. Additionally, the salacious stories of Madame C's youth, the accidents caused during my grandfather's rise, and the illicit dealings that ensued under CE's stewardship, including the evidence of the 3-No products and the incident in which Madame C had accidentally caused someone's death, were all laid bare. Furthermore, evidence of CU's deliberate actions during a dance competition that resulted in lifelong disability for another was also revealed. Upon awakening, I discovered local news outlets reporting on the C family scandal, detailing their imminent bankruptcy and the arrests of my father and Madame C, alongside the accountability faced by CU. As I scrolled through my phone, I noticed that Mingxu had also shared numerous intimate photographs of CU with various men, images that hardly aligned with the notion of her fiancé being bedridden. The comment sections were rife with condemnation. CE had been in a relationship with C Nian's mother during university, yet later married a wealthy heiress. We are astonished to learn of these developments. To betray a woman who stood by him for over a decade is truly despicable. The 3-No products from their family caused my child's demise, and though I sought evidence, I found none until now. This is poetic justice. How is it that no one knew about Madame C's escapades with 4 male models in a single night? Now we see their family's traditions are quite robust. If the mother could summon 4 male models, her daughter surely surpasses her with 6. Truly, each generation is more formidable than the last. So, she claims to have waited 2 years for him. This is how she waited? Accusing him of opportunism? I wholeheartedly support Mingxiao in marrying C Nian. After caring for a comatose person for 2 years, if I were in his position, I would undoubtedly elevate such a devoted individual to the heavens. Mingxu has also responded to this comment, affirming his dedication to cherishing her in his palms. At that moment, a journalist friend brought a bouquet close to my nose, celebrating your rebirth. In order to time it perfectly, I have invested considerable effort to ensure that upon your awakening, you would witness the decline of the C family, and of course, Mingxiao has contributed significantly to this flawless resolution. Though my voice remains unfit for speech, I smiled. My friend mirrored my expression but added, however, he is even busier than I am. Do you know what he is occupied with? I shook my head. My friend gestured towards the door, saying, he is busy preparing for his bride, eagerly awaiting his wedding. I turned my gaze to see Mingxu clad in a pink suit, holding a bouquet of purple double-petal lilies. The scene mirrored our first encounter. Who could have imagined that the little boy who mistakenly delivered flowers 14 years ago would turn out to be my destined companion? It matters not. 14 years have passed, and he remains steadfast. The end of the narrative. Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed this, please remember to like and subscribe. Until we meet again in the next story.